Hello, dear viewers. Welcome to yet another episode of Glonax Property Show. My name is Marianne Bill, and I'm a media practitioner at Glonax Commercial Agencies. So, Glonax Commercial Agencies is a real estate company that is based here in Nakuru City at Gate House, 5th floor, Suite 506. So, in this particular episode, I've come to visit a very seasoned tax consultant, and we shall be talking about taxes, tax returns, and everything else about tax. Every month or every year, Kenyans are required to file their tax returns to the Kenya Revenue Authority, which is a government body that collects taxes from Kenyans. So, karibu sana. My guest is going to introduce himself, and then we shall begin. Karibu.
Thank you very much, Marianne, for giving me this opportunity to talk to our viewers, and welcome in my office. My name is Timothy Kimotho. I am a tax consultant. I work here at Gate House, 5th floor, room number 507. I work with a company by the name SW Warungi & Company, and currently I'm a senior tax consultant in that particular office. Our viewers, welcome. Today we are going to learn something about taxes. And there are so many types of taxes in Kenya, but today I'm going to dwell on 4 main types of taxes that are involved in the business of real estate. And I hope our viewers will get an opportunity to learn and to know the kind of taxes they are supposed to be remitting if they decide to invest in this business.
Okay.
Yes.
So thank you very much. So I'm sure you have heard that he's here to educate us about taxes, tax returns. So please stay tuned. Filing taxes in Kenya is very important. It is something that you need to be knowledgeable about, and Mr. Kimotho, like he said, is here to shed more light on that. So maybe he can now go ahead and...
Yeah, straight away I'm going to start with the 4 types of taxes that are involved in this in the field of real estate.
Okay.
The first type of tax that I'm going to talk about is the income tax. The other type of tax that I'm going to discuss about is the monthly rental income. The other type of tax we are going to discuss is value added tax, that is VAT. And the final one for today is capital gain tax,
Yes.
CGT.
Okay.
Straight away, we are going to start with the income tax. Income tax is a type of tax that is filed by every individual who has a KRA PIN is entitled to file an income tax. Basically, in the line of taxes, income tax is a general tax that is liable to be paid by anyone. But when it comes to different and specific businesses, that's where the other types of taxes fall under income tax, depending on the type of business that you are doing. So income tax is filed at the end of every year, and it is filed by the following June, before 30th June of the following year. For example, we are when we are in the year 2021, we were filing the returns for the year 2020 before June 30th. Basically, from the month of January to the month of June, that the last day of June 30th, that's when we are supposed to file our returns. That is with the income tax. And
So that is with anyone with a KRA.
yeah, anyone with a KRA.
Just above 18 years, usually someone gets their KRA PIN as soon as they get employed.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's very important. I'm sure most of our viewers who are watching us have a KRA PIN, and you've been informed that it is required of before 30th June of every year to file your tax returns, starting from January of the next year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So you see, you have like 6 months to file your tax returns.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, the other 3 types of taxes, they are like branches to the income tax, and they are registered to specific people who are dealing with a specific type of business. The first one that I'm going to start with is the monthly rental income. We normally refer to it as MRI. This is a type of tax that is paid by the landlords or the landladies after they collect the rent from the tenant. It is paid 10% of the gross, and it is a final tax. Final. When I say final tax, I mean that if you pay that 10% every year, you're not supposed to pay any other kind of tax at the end of the year. It is a final tax. This kind of tax is filed the following month, before 20th of the following month. For example, we are in the month of August. We are filing the returns for the month of July. You collect your rent from for the month of July, from 1st July to 31st July.
Yes.
Then from the 1st August and 20th August, that is the period you have been given that period to ensure that you file your returns.
As a landlord.
Yeah, as a landlord. It's paid by the landlord. The government has given us a 20 days so that we can be able to remit the returns. These returns are supposed to be limited 10% of gross. For example, if you have a residential house whereby you are collecting Kenya shillings 100,000, you are supposed to pay 10% of the Kenya shillings 100,000 that you collect.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And you are supposed to pay it before 20th of the following month.
Yes.
If you fail to pay before 20th of the following month, is a penalty of 2,000. And then if you file and you fail to pay, there is an interest of 1% every month on top of what you are supposed to pay as the principal tax. So basically, that is the kind of tax that we refer to as MRI. It's a final tax. If you pay the 10%, that's all. You're not required to file any other return at the end of the year.
So you mentioned that this is the monthly rental income tax, right? There's something you've mentioned that the 1% interest on principal.
Yeah.
Maybe you can explain just a little bit. I'm sure maybe some of our viewers are wondering, maybe the jargon is to have principal.
Well, for example, I'm saying,
you can just lay it,
for example, if you are supposed to pay, let's say in the month of July,
yes,
you collected an amount of 10,000 Kenya shillings.
yes,
You are supposed to pay 10% of the 10,000 Kenya shillings. 10% of the 10,000, I believe it is 1,000.
Yes.
So you are supposed to pay 1,000 before before 20th of the following month.
Yes.
If you fail to pay 1,000, you are still liable to pay that 1,000. And if you fail to pay it by that date of 20th, starting date 21st, there will be an interest of 1% of that 1,000 that you failed to pay. So by the time, let's say you decide to pay it in the month of we are talking about the month of July.
Okay.
Now we have decided to pay in the month of October or November. So every month they will be calculating a 1% of the principal, that 1,000. So by the time we are in the month of November, maybe it will be 1,500. Yes.
I see. So sorry, the 1% you're mentioning from date 21st
Yes.
is not at every day is 1%.
It is 1% per month.
Per month.
Yes.
Very good. That's very important to note that it is 1% per month.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
The other type of tax that we are going to talk about is the value-added tax. VAT. VAT, this is a kind of tax that is charged on commercial building, unlike now the MRI, which is charged on residential building. This one is charged on commercial building. A good example is where we are today. This office, we are located here in Gatehouse. This office, we normally pay rent every month, and the rent that we pay every month, it is inclusive of VAT. So another difference between VAT and MRI, if you may understand, is that MRI is paid by the landlord. VAT is paid by the tenant, but the person who is remitting is the landlord on behalf of the tenant. So the landlord is only remitting on behalf of the tenant. So he's not the one who is supposed to pay the tax. That's why if I can show you my receipt for the rent, you'll see that they have written there inclusive of VAT. The amount that I pay, it is inclusive of VAT. So for them, they'll just remit to the government on my behalf. And that's why you find that if you fail to file VAT by 20th of the following month, because it is also filed 20th of the following month. For example, we are in the month of July, we are doing the VAT. No, we are in the month of August, we are doing the VAT for the month of July. If you fail to file the returns by 20th of this August, you will be there will be a penalty of 10,000. Remember, the one for MRI was 2,000. Now this one for VAT, it is 10,000
per month.
And the reason why the penalty is high,
Yes.
it's because it's not you who is paying that tax.
Yeah.
You are just remitting that tax.
Yes.
It is paid by the tenant. You are just remitting on behalf of the
tenant.
That's why you find that if you don't pay that that amount by 20th of every month, you find that the penalty is high.
Because there is no excuse for not
There is
filing,
no
yet
excuse.
the tenant is paying the
Yeah,
tax.
you are collecting on behalf of the government.
So that is 10,000 shillings penalty per month.
Yeah, 10,000 shillings penalty per month if you fail to pay. And of course, if you file and if you fail to remit the money to the government, there is also a 1% interest. Yeah, to the principal.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very important to note, especially the difference of the MRI and the ones that are the landlords, the tenants file the tax on behalf of the landlords for the property, right? For like where we are right now,
What we are,
at Gate House.
yeah, what we are saying, VAT is on commercial building.
Yes.
When we pay rent, our rent is inclusive of VAT. But where we live, in our residential places, where we live, we don't pay rent inclusive of VAT. Because on that particular incidence, the landlord is supposed to pay MRI. But on this particular incidence, we pay our rent inclusive of VAT. So the landlord will only collect that money on behalf of the government.
Yeah.
The final one for today is capital gain tax, CGT, which is supposed to be paid by a person who sells a property, and there is a profit. You receive a profit after selling that property. That type of tax is paid 12% final after you receive the amount. For example, if you decide to invest, you decide to buy a property. Let's use a building today. You buy a building in Nakuru City today for 10 million Kenya shillings. Then after 5 years, you sell the same building for 12 million Kenya shillings. There is a gain of 2 million Kenya shillings.
That is the profit you have made of selling the building that you initially made.
Out of the profit that you have gotten, 12.5%, you are supposed to remit that amount to the government. And there is no deadline for that tax because it's when you sell that
particular property.
It's when you sell that particular property.
So you've mentioned that there is no deadline for that particular tax.
Yes.
Does it mean that then it's easy for people to maybe not pay the tax? Because how will the government know that? I'm sure maybe even our viewers are wondering that. How will the government know that I've sold this particular property if there's no deadline to it?
Well, I think the government has its mechanism to know if you, for example, if you sell a property, there are some agreements that you will have to.
So maybe when they notice change of agreement, change of
user. For example, this building is registered at a particular person.
Yes.
If you sell this building and you want to transfer this building to another person, let's say this building is under my name, Mr. Kimogo. I want to transfer this building to Marianne.
Yes.
There will be change of transfer, and that thing is supposed to be done by the relevant authorities. So automatically, the government will be aware that you've transferred the property. So
so that is the best way they could identify. It's very good to know that.
Yes.
So I believe that is on the types of taxes in real estate, especially those who want to invest here in Kenya and they want to know the different types of tax that are waiting for them, and when to file them, how to file them, and even the consequences that it comes with for not filing your taxes. Thank you so much for staying tuned till the end of our wonderful program. We believe that you have learned so much on tax returns, and if you're looking to invest into real estate, at least you now know what is required of you and even the consequences that come with not paying taxes on time. So until next time, from Mr. Kimogo and I, bye-bye.